Hello, Grant Wiley here from Worthington Publishing, here to bring you another review in Grant's Game Room. I believe this is episode, well, I'll just write it on there since I can't keep track. Guys, if you're enjoying these reviews, please go below, click the subscribe button, click the notification button, share our videos. We're trying to get as many people in here as we can. We're trying to get new games to review. So we appreciate your help. We appreciate your support. Little bit of housekeeping. Our Hold Fast Tunisia campaign is still available on Kickstarter. Go out on Kickstarter, put in Hold Fast, one word, Tunisia, Tunisia, into the search button. And hey, back us, guys. We appreciate the support. It's the only way us small game companies keep going is if you support us, and we do appreciate it. Trust us, none of us are getting rich off this. However, we are, making games. We love making games, and we love seeing and talking to y'all. And also, let us know what you like, don't like, and what you'd like to see. If you've seen a game that you'd like to see me review, I don't mind, ordering it and going through it, playing it, and learning it. With that being said, I'm going to review a great game that I picked up this year at the World Board Gaming Championships in Seven Springs Ski Resort. A Wing and a Prayer by Lock and Load Publishing. Any of y'all that have ever played B-17 Queen of the Skies by Avalon Hill, The Hunters, the submarine game, great games, and this one's right along that line. It's solitaire. It can be played by two players. I've only played it solitaire. I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm not an expert on the system. I will go through the rules and explain to you a little bit about the game. But first, let's pop open the box and see what we get. Guys, this is a nice, beautiful box. I like the look of the historical art mixed with a little bit of the game board in here. You got the back. It's like you're overlooking the bomber. The complexity is a 5 out of 10, 2 to 4 hour playing time. We're going to go into the box and just briefly go through what you get. You get a deck of 55 playing cards. These are your mission cards. They've got 2 cards normally for each location that you're going to be bombing. Red and a blue. The blue is for a city that's undamaged, a location that's undamaged. A red's for a damaged location. You'll draw these during the game to set your missions for your bombers. You get a set of tokens. You've got some ace pilots. You've got some Lady Luck counters that can add random events that always make it a little bit cool here. Nice, huge, thick. I mean, these counters are ginormous. Believe they're 1 inch. They're nice and thick. Let's see. We've got a marker here, but you can see how big that is around, inside my fat fingers here. They're good and thick. I mean, these are sturdy counters. They're going to last you for a lifetime of gaming. You've got crew. Crews for your bombers. You've got to assign crews to your bombers. They're rated on 3 different levels. Veteran, green, and crack, if I'm not mistaken. Guys, you get all kinds of planes. Bombers, fighter escorts, B-21s, B-17s, P-51s, P-17s, B-17G, B-17F. So you get a nice selection of plane counters here to fly your missions. German flat counters. Hey, these cities weren't undefended. You've got a couple different levels, 3 different levels of flat counters, light, medium, and heavy, depending on the mission you're flying. You go over Berlin, Hitler had it ringed. You go over Paris, let them deal with it. German interceptors. You got a number of these. And one of the things they did that were really cool, and I'll show you when we set this up, is for the damaged interceptors, the damaged bombers, they didn't just put like a red line through it. You got a smoking plane there. So you flip it over, you got a plane smoking. It adds to the visual flavor of the game. It gives you that cool, just a cool visual. And same thing for the interceptors. You've got some crews there that can affect things. Guys, I love the rules. Beautiful, full color rules, goes through all your equipment in the game, walks you through the missions, the campaign. You got 3 varying lengths of campaign here. You can play a short, medium, or the full 25 missions. Lots of good graphics. You can take these and just basically walk through the game. And that's pretty much what I did. I haven't played it in a little bit since I got it. It clocks in at 40 page rule set, counting cover and art, and they got an advertisement here in the back. It's a lot, but it's not as heavy as it sounds because of the amount of graphics and the large font they used. Everything in this game is very readable. If you've got space issues, that's one of the things that gets a little tricky, is the amount of table space this can take up, but I didn't find it a problem. You know, good sized gaming table, you can play it. You get your formation cards. You set your bombers on here with your crews. You've got the interceptors up here and the escort. This is something you're going to have out during the entire game. Some of the other charts, you can just pop them out as you need them. It's got cloud cover, interceptors, and your position within each bombing formation. Your lead element, lead bomber, you want your best bomber leading with the best crew, probably, because they apply a modifier when it comes time to fight. They fly a little bit lower, the next element behind them, the high element, and you fill in your bombers as you go. If you don't have enough bombers to fill in all your elements, you lose a victory point for each bomber you're short. So if you need 12 bombers and you're short 4 and you've only got 8 available because you're either ready due to damage or not, well, you're going to lose 4 victory points on that mission because you don't have the required number of bombers. So you're going to have this out the whole time. You got a number of charts. You don't have to have this out the whole time. This is a victory campaign success table, campaign progress table, bombers and bombing. You've got a combat table here, target damage. So you got a number of tables on that. Air combat, it kind of walks you through things here. It's a player sequence. Very nice to have always. This is for the 1 player. You've got an air combat here. 1 player sequence. I got 2 here. So, and then you've got a 2 player sequence. So if you wanted to play with this with 2 player, they've got the rules in there, how you can do it, the chart. They kind of walks you through it. You can just follow along and points you to all the right things. 2 player chart here, resource table, campaign, interceptor check. So you can be the Germans playing the interceptors. And all these charts are nicely done. They're not going to tear up or anything. Flak damage, air combat, again, escort engagement. A lot of charts and tables. But again, you don't have to have these open the whole time. You can pop these open. This is for setup and events. Large font, very readable. I have to wear reading glasses normally when I read, but I can read this just fine without them. And this is the other chart you're going to have up the whole time. The squadron briefing card, it tracks VP for the campaign and mission. So if you're on a fighter mission, it tracks your VP and for the whole campaign. Now, the next thing up is the game board, and then we're to the bottom of the box. The game board is cardstock. I know that's not good for some people. For me, it doesn't bother me. I can play under plexiglass. You can see everything's linked up to the 8th Air Force Base, and you move from area to area. You check intercept, you check flak, you check cloud cover. It keeps track of your missions here, 25, running from 42 to 45. You've got the fighter escort range. P-38 has an 8 square range. P-51 has a 12. P-17 has a 6. So they can only escort you so far. And as you're going deeper and deeper, it gets harder and harder. You know, you can see Berlin over here. And the different, something I found pretty cool was the different targets have different things that they're good. Like Hanover, rail stations. Of course, you got anti-aircraft. Hamburg, industrial. Berlin, industrial. Military bases. sub pins here. So you've got a number of different targets, and I found it to be pretty cool in that regard. I'm going to come around the rules because there's so much involved, guys. I'm not going to go through a detailed example of play and walk you through it. I think there's others out there. I'm just going to give you a brief overview on how this plays. I'm going to come around to the other side of the camera. You're going to get to see the fat fingers, not the pretty face, and we'll review the game, go through that portion of it. All right, I'm back here, guys, behind the camera, and I've got the game pretty much set up. I'm not going to go through everything here with you, but down here is the mission chart. I've got it set up for the 1942 scenario, just a short 5-turn mission or 5-mission run. You'd stop here after turn 5, so you can see it's color-coded for green, and then the yellow, red, and gray. When you set up, you place your bombers and crew right up here at the top in the squadron briefing card. There's a ready section, the gray, and then the not ready down here in the shaded. Campaign VP track, mission VP track, and then victory point campaign progress. Again, you can see the various locations here. Sorry, zooming in. Showing the targets, flak area. There's 2 dice, a black and a white. See, we all can get along. You've got the 8th Air Force Base, overseas area, and then the area here. Now, I've already shuffled the mission deck, and you draw out the 1942 cards, you turn them face down. There's my squadron formation card. And one of the cool things on these are, and I'm going to break out a counter for the bomber, and I'm going to break out a counter for the crew. You got veteran, crack, and I'm going to put that on there because I think that's a little easier to read. And green troop counters. Now, you can see here the picture of the bomber. That's a B-17F. Can I get it a little more in focus? The finger shows the way. I'll explain what each of these ratings are because they correspond to the crew counter. Now, this is a green crew, so you can flip it over if you want to pick them, or if you want to know what they are. Each green crew is rated different. So if you were to surprise yourself and assign it to this bomber and then send it on the mission and then flip it over, it may not be the guy you want with that plane. Meanwhile, a crack crew, you can see their ratings are all positive modifiers. The green crew, they have negative modifier rating. And I'll explain real briefly here what each of these numbers mean, if I can quit moving the hand. Sorry about that interruption. I wanted to break out a German interceptor to show you just some of the different ratings here and how they're used. The number rating is the air combat value. So this German FW-190 has a 5, while the B-17F is a 3. Now, of course, the red number up here in the corner is the bombing navigation rating. There is none of that for the German interceptor. The white number here in the lower left corner is the performance rating, and then the green, where my fat finger's blocking, the green rating is the structure, the ability of the plane to take damage. And again, all of this relates to the crew counter. So your crew here, your veteran crew, and we'll flip it over to the crack crew to make it a little bit better. If I put this crack crew with this bomber, my air combat rating goes up by +1. So now a 3 becomes a 4. The performance rating goes from a 2 to a 4, and the bombing from a 4 to a 5. Now, of course, the crew can't affect the structure of the plane, so there's no modifier for that. So you can see how the crew and the combat kind of will work. It at least gives you a small idea. Now, if I put this green crew with this bomber, well, we're in a little bit of trouble. Our air combat rating drops to a 2. Our performance stays the same, and our bombing drops to a 3. So the better the crew, the better the bomber, the better everything goes. And again, the plane can be damaged. There's a smoking bomber. Pretty cool looking counter. Your bombing drops to a 2. Everything, I think, gets cut about in half, rounded up. Maybe not. Same thing with the German Interceptor. So anyway, that's how that works. Putting this away, I'm going to show you the mission cards. These are the mission cards, the blue missions. You start them out face down, and then of course you pick the top one. So my top one here for the Allies, if I drew this would have been my top draw. You can see the flak rating is a 22. The VPs are 10 if I destroy Rotterdam, 5 if I damage it. I need a minimum of 9 bombers on that mission. Remember before I told you that if you didn't have enough bombers ready, that you'd lose a victory point. So say I only had 6 bombers ready. Even if I completed this mission, I would lose 3 VP because 6 from 9 takes away 3. I'd lose that. These are escorts available. I could have up to 8 escorts on this mission. Let me rebrief myself briefly on that number. The year on the card, 1942. It shows you when it's available at a certain point in the game. You take the 42 counters out. The target difficulty rating is the 0. That's how difficult the target is to bomb, and it shifts on the combat table. And the destruction rating, it represents how difficult it is to destroy the target in a bombing run. Trying to think if there's anything else. And again, you can see they're all different. Abbeville's a little bit harder or more VP. Doesn't have as much flak though. The destruction rating's a little bit higher. Let's find a, let's see. Antwerp, most of them go down. Wow, I picked the very hardest one right off the top for Rotterdam. Luckily, most of my fighters, or my escort fighter, my P-47 escort fighter, would be able to make this. Now, what you want to do after you draw your mission is you're going to assign your crew. You're going to, I've got 12 bombers ready since it's the first crew. So I've got all 12 of my bombers up here with all 12 of my crew. First mission of the year. I would obviously not send 12 bombers on this, and there's a reason. Is if you got 4 damaged, that would only leave you 8 for upcoming missions, your next mission draw, which could affect your victory point. So you want to send, I think about the minimum that you can send on these to keep your crews fresh, because there's going to come some points in time where you're going to have to make the decision of whether you send all the planes, you know, a limited number of planes, just enough to get the mission done, or so you think you may not be able to finish it. So like here, you want to plan your mission. I start up here in the 8th Air Force Base. Obviously, I don't want to fly this way to Rotterdam because 1, 2, 3, I'm going to have to go through 2 areas with interceptors and 2 areas with flak before I can even get to Rotterdam. Stupid route. Obviously, the quickest way is 1 over the sea, 2 over the sea, 3 into Rotterdam. So I'd face a limited amount of flak. The escort, the interceptor is not as likely to happen going along that route. It's a shorter route. My P-47s have a max range of 6, so that's definitely within my max range on this. That's pretty much how you play it out. One of the complaints, and I don't think it's very valid, is that there aren't enough decision points in the game. Guys, if you're playing this type of game, if you're playing a solitaire game, it's Stratomatic War. I don't care if it's B-17 Queen of Sky. I don't care if it's the Hunters. It's Stratomatic War. But there's a cool element to that for me. Some gamers may not like it. If you don't, this ain't your game. There's other games out there. If you want to be a solo fighter pilot, a solo bomber pilot, there's games out there for you on this. I think it's a pretty game. I think it's a fun game. I think there are some decision points here. And once you make your decisions, you run out your mission. You're not fighting plane-to-plane combat here. Understand that. Again, you're not going, juking through clouds in this. You set your crews, you set your bombers, you set your mission track, and you complete the mission. And then you roll dice and see what happens. All in all, a great game. I'm going to flip around to the other side of the counter. I hope I just gave you a brief overview. Again, there's a lot here and a lot of detail. And I'm not going to go through all of that. So stand by and I'm going to flip around to the other side of the camera and we'll go from there. Guys, as I said, if you're looking to fly an individual bomber and make all these important decisions for the bomber, at what level you're flying and what time do I drop the bomb, this isn't the game for you. However, I think if you're a gamer that likes making some decisions and seeing how it plays out, the effects of that decision, this is a fun game. You can assign not necessarily personalities to each position within the plane. That's a different game. That's B-17 Queen in the Skies. This is a step back from that. You're running the campaigns. You're running the air wing that's going to be going in for those bombs. I recommend it highly. As a matter of fact, I hadn't played this game since August. And now after doing the review, guess what I'm going to do as soon as I get done with this video? I'm going to play this game for a couple hours. Sit down and unwind before I go up and visit a friend. Guys, get this game. That's it for today's review. My next review is going to be on Grant's Gamble, our Civil War game. I had a request from a previous reviewer that asked me to do a review of Grant's Gamble, or our Civil War series. We've got 4 games in that series. Lee's Invincibles on the Gettysburg campaign, Jackson and Sheridan on the 62-64 Valley campaign, Grant's Gamble, and Pemberton and Grant. Please go below, click the subscribe button. I hope you're enjoying these along with our updates, and look forward to seeing you soon. As always, happy gaming. Have a great day.